Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a figure review on the brand new NECA 50th Anniversary Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface. Now, I was super excited for them to announce this one because I think it's been, it's got to have been like, it feels like 8 to 10 years since the prior release of this particular figure. So it was long overdue for a re-release. And what better time to do it than during the 50th anniversary? And they didn't skimp. I mean, we got a brand new cover here on a nice matte finish box. So looking really, really good here. And, man, it's just good to see NECA get back in the horror realm a little bit. They've definitely slowed their pace on the horror. It seemed like at one point that NECA's main bread and butter was horror. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they still release stuff. They just put out that new Megan figure. They did all the new Halloween stuff. And then they also did, what else? Oh, Jigsaw. I picked up that new Jigsaw Ultimate Edition that they did, but it felt like at one point, all you saw was horror figures for NECA. And then once they got a hold of that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, they just went to town with that. And I don't blame them. Obviously, that thing is a cash cow, but it definitely had slowed the pacing on the horror stuff. So it's good to see a classic property that we haven't seen in a while come back to NECA. Let's take a look here. Like I mentioned, the box is all a new matte finish. You got the traditional Leatherface there on the left side, and then the box looks absolutely perfect. Like, that is right out of the movie right there. All these scenes, they have always done a phenomenal job on their boxes, so I love that. And then you do get Grandma. I think the new addition here is the actual apron. You are able to change that out, and then this is a new head sculpt as well, but it looks absolutely phenomenal. They always do really well with their boxes, and then they do give you that window opportunity. So we'll take a look here. So he is going to get 3 head sculpts in all. He does get his array of weapons on the right side, and then obviously his signature chainsaw there. Get a nice little promo shot there, and look how great he looks, man. They have definitely resculpted those heads for sure. And then in the back, behind this figure, is a backdrop of the kitchen scene. Or his hallway scene, excuse me, not the kitchen. But he does also have his apron, his blue apron behind this guy. So all we got to do now is get him out of the package, show you everything he's got, and get this review started. I guess taking a look at Leatherface, and immediately I am absolutely stunned. Like, this thing looks so screen accurate. This got to be one of the best sculpts NECA's done for their horror guys in a while. Like, this thing looks damn near out of the movie. Let's get a little bit closer here, and I mean, damn, that thing is just looking absolutely killer. And even like the wiring around the mouth, you got like the silver wiring up there. Just a lot of attention to detail here. And then the apron is going to be different. It's going to be like a soft plastic this time around, where I believe the other one was a soft goods, which is fine. But I definitely think I like the plastic a little bit more. Just more form-fitting, like, and just, I don't know. Yeah, the plastic, I think, is just, I think the form-fitting, and then the wrinkles that are included with it just turned out really, really nice. So, granted, I know a lot of people like soft goods, but the replacement is not bad at all. In fact, I think it actually improves the figure a little bit. But to each their own. I guess if you're a soft goods fan, then maybe that's a con for you. But for me, I definitely think this makes it look a lot better. And then as far as articulation, let's take a look. As far as looking up, he can look up about that far. His collar really gets in the way there, so there's going to be a little bit of a hinder there. As far as looking down, gets a fairly decent amount down. He can definitely look down, so that's pretty good. As far as your classic villain head tilt, he does get that, which is good because he definitely does that in the movie. Not a ton of range, but enough. That's enough. I feel like that's enough where I'm satisfied with that. As far as arm articulation, you got to be careful with NECA because they're known for snapping limbs as well. I think Ghostface had an issue with that. Can get out about that far, which is pretty good. I mean, for what you want out of Leatherface, that's pretty decent. And then as far as his arms as itself, they do get a single joint, which is also very stiff. Careful. And then you do get a single joint on the wrist for your hands here. So as far as any ab articulation, I mean, he can lean forward about that far, and then as far as leaning back, there's really nothing there. There's definitely no ab crunch or anything there. As you can see here, nothing there, but there is a waist swivel, so he can twist about that far and then twist about that far with him inside the apron there. So that's very good. And then let's take a look at the knee articulation. Leatherface, not super acrobatic. He's not Spider-Man, but he is going to kick out about that far. And then have a single jointed at the knee. So about there. Get him in a running pose at least. And then as far as going back, I guess you can get him about that far back. And then far forward. Without stretching it too much, you can get about that far forward. But again, I would think most people, unless you wanted to try to get him in a running pose, are going to have him probably standing there with the chainsaw and all his accessories and everything like that. Speaking of accessories, let's take a look at those. First one here is going to be this new updated grandma sculpt, and man, this thing is nightmare fuel. My God, I was never a big fan of this particular mask in the film, but I mean, I can't say I don't appreciate the head sculpt though. I mean, it's super nice, well detailed. The hair looks good. And just that mouth, man. Like I said, they went next level on the mouth, and just like all the little detail in the teeth and everything. Oh, definitely really cool, man. Can't say I'm not tempted to also dress him up as grandma once in a while. And speaking of grandma, what's grandma without her apron? This is an additional accessory that I don't believe comes with the original, so part of the 50th anniversary deluxe edition, you are going to get grandma's apron as well. We'll put that on here in just a little bit. And then what is Leatherface without his classic chainsaw? The blood looking really good. I was hoping this time around on my last Leatherface, this piece right here underneath, this little skinny piece of plastic did break on me. Doesn't feel any more sturdy this time around either, so I got to be definitely careful with this one. But man, they just really nail the detail. But I have to say, these pieces, these effect pieces, feel a little bit on the fragile side, so definitely be careful. He does get his sledge, looks great, a nice gunmetal there, steel metal, a little bit of rust there at the top there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but really well detailed and a nice firm plastic, but don't think that can't break. Also does get his hammer, again, very, very nice. They do accessories extremely well. The wood finish looks very good, and then also the head itself looks like a real tool, just shrunken down. And then again, moving on with his artillery here, he gets a nice meat cleaver, a fresh clean cleaver. I would have thought they might have thrown a little bit of blood on there, but did not. Okay, you could definitely do that yourself if you wanted to. The handle looks nice and worn though, like, oh, very, very cool, very, very cool. And then does get his little knife. Man, this thing is carpet monster fodder if I've ever seen it. Not to mention this little tip right here, you got to be super careful with it. One false move, folks, and that thing's a goner. That thing's snapping right off, so definitely be careful with that. But again, attention to detail has always been NECA's strong points, as they get down there to the little bolt in the freaking wood along with the rope. Looking very, very good there. And then Grandma does also have her little wooden spoon as she's cooking in the kitchen. So very, very cool there. I believe that actually does fit in Grandma's pouch. So if we wanted to take a look, it's got almost that little indent right there, the spoon indent. So if you wanted to throw that in there, then Grandma can carry her spoon. Very, very nice. Then the last thing here, which, man, if you are successfully able to get this to work, you are next level. I mean, they get the hook with the, but man, God, using this thing, you'd almost want like a real metal piece. This is pure plastic, and I'd be afraid if you were to put any type of figure on the tip of this, man, that's just game over. I mean, this is definitely just a prop piece you can have hanging in the background on some string, but do not put any figures on that. That will break instantly, but still a cool piece to the accessory pack. Again, maybe you want to see a little bit of blood here on the tip we're moving up here, a little bit of blood splatter, but hey, this is fresh. He's a sanitizer, man. He's not putting anybody on a dirty hook. He's got fresh hooks for his victims. So very, very cool. And then last piece of the accessories is going to be his gripping hands, and we know what these are for. Any of those pieces of weapon that you just saw, but also that big ass chainsaw that he's carries. So let's try him on with some of the different heads and also see what Grandma looks like. One thing I'm noticing immediately is the neck piece comes off, and then you also take off the head sculpt. So not that it came off hard or anything like that, but I just noticed that it did come off in like two different pieces here. And to take the apron off, you do just want to push up on the bottom of this apron here. It kind of loosens the neck, and you got to be gentle because, again, this is, while it looks nice, it does not feel of the highest, like, sturdiness. I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for here? But, yeah, we got to figure out a way to get this off without breaking the freaking straps. The one I'm finding out is it might be easier to shimmy it down than it is to go up over top over those arms. So I don't know if that helps you out enough, but yeah, I would shimmy it down more than going up. And here is Grandma, and good God, this thing is absolutely terrifying, but whew, what a welcome addition. Like I said, I'm not even a big fan of Grandma from the actual movie, but in figure form, it makes me appreciate the character a lot more, and I definitely am not complaining that they included it, because this thing is absolutely awesome, especially with the cleaver. And then again, you do get that spoon, and it looks like there's almost like a spoon imprint right here, so it's exactly where it looks like we're supposed to put that. Grandma is not complete without her spoon accessory and her cleaver, but man, next level on the Grandma, and whew, it's hard not to say you'd want to pick up two of these so you could rock both looks. And before I put him back into his apron, I wanted to show you a little bit of what he looks like outside. There's nice wrinkling on the shirt. The tie looks absolutely phenomenal. A little bit of back sweat there, and did throw on the third head sculpt. I don't know that I actually showed this one in detail yet, but looks like the head sculpt, like the face that he makes when he attacks Franklin in the dark. So definitely a cool one. I think I like this one the best, to be honest, but whew, just wanted to show you a little bit what he looked like. Oh, and his fly's even down. Oh, the attention to detail. Neca doesn't miss with that. This is going to be the final head sculpt that he comes with. Again, I had mentioned earlier that I do think this is from the scene where he attacks Franklin and just kind of pops out of nowhere with his chainsaw. And, well, that's the last time you see Franklin. But, yeah, this figure is absolutely next level. Neca did a bang-up job on the re-release, and it is available for pre-order on your big retailers like Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store, but I did happen to find this at Walmart. They have like that new horror section where they put a lot of this stuff, and that's where I found this guy. So check your Walmarts. He ran me about $35 is where he's at. But man, what a next level figure. The only real cons I can say are going to be with this are just the fragileness of the accessories. Like, I feel like if you switch this out too much, like these pieces back here are going to eventually break. And his accessories, as far as the weaponry, are super small, stiff plastic. So one false move definitely could snap some pieces. But man, everything else, the attention to detail, even when it comes down to the pants and like the boots, just everything turned out really, really nice. The only other thing obviously would be articulation is not the greatest, but that's not really what you buy NECA for. I feel like most of the time, if you're looking for something more along that line, I don't know what, I can't speak for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Maybe they get more, but with the horror figures, I mean, they definitely haven't been like the craziest articulation, but for a guy like Leatherface, I mean, this is really all I need anyways. And if I wanted to raise over his head like this, could do something like this then. But, I mean, that's really all I need him to do. But maybe extend the arm just a little bit higher. Let's see if we can get that. God, don't break it. But, yeah, something like that. I mean, where he's just, like, raising it or something like that. That's really all I need him to do. But that is going to be our 50th anniversary Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface, and I have to say I'm thoroughly impressed. If you see it, I would recommend it. On a 1 to 10, I am going to give this bad boy a nice 8.4 out of 10. So other than that, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. I know this was a little bit different than what we do, but I want to show you everything I collect. And I collect a little bit of everything, especially the horror stuff. So let me know in the comments below if you're going to pick this bad boy up, what other figures you plan on picking up by NECA, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I'll see you on the next one. Richie Figs, later.
But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.